Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into one of America's most enduring and really chilling cold cases. The brutal, hauntingly unsolved murder of the Black Dahlia.
A truly infamous case.
Absolutely. So, January 15, 1947, Los Angeles, Lyman Park. A mother walking with her child discovers something in a vacant lot. First, she thinks it's like a mannequin.
Yeah.
But as she gets closer, horrifying. It's the naked, severed body of 22-year-old Elizabeth Short, and meticulously posed.
And that posing, that's what's really fascinating here. The scene itself was a message, right? Deliberate.
Not hidden at all.
No, it was a public display. Almost, a performance.
Yeah.
A kind of terrifying communication from the killer. Investigators knew right away this wasn't just about hiding a body.
Okay, so in this deep dive, we'll look at Elizabeth Short's life, the really macabre details of the crime, the investigation, which was just chaotic, and then the big theories, especially that controversial one about Dr. George Hodel. Our mission really is to pull out the key stuff from the sources and figure out why this case still grips us, decades later. So let's start with Elizabeth Short. Who was she before the nickname?
Well, Elizabeth was born in Boston, 1924. Her childhood was pretty rough, marked by abandonment, actually. Her father's car was found abandoned in 1930, presumed dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she suffered from severe bronchitis, respiratory problems. That's partly why she moved around so much, looking for milder climates.
Yeah.
Led to a very transient life.
And she eventually made her way to California.
She did, yeah. Briefly reconnected with her father, who it turns out wasn't dead after all.
Go away. Yeah.
But that didn't last long. Then in 1943, she got arrested for underage drinking. Minor thing, but crucial because it gave police her fingerprints.
Which identified her later, right?
Exactly. And there was more tragedy. She was engaged to an Army Air Force officer, but he died in the plane crash.
God, she really had a tough run.
She absolutely did. By mid-1946, she's in L.A., working as a waitress. Not really the aspiring actress the papers later made her out to be.
Ah, okay. That image was maybe inflated by the press.
Very likely. She was struggling, moving between cheap places. Friends said she'd even mentioned threats from an ex-boyfriend. Just constantly searching for some stability, made her incredibly vulnerable.
And that name, Black Dahlia, where did that come from?
That's a bit murky too. Maybe a nod to a popular film noir at the time, the Blue Dahlia and her dark hair and clothes, or possibly just cooked up by the sensationalist press. Hard to say for sure.
Okay, so from her life, let's turn to the crime scene itself, because the details are just horrifying, but they tell us a lot about the killer. What did investigators find?
It was grim. The body was completely severed at the lumbar spine, basically cut clean in half at the waist. It's a procedure called a hemicorporectomy.
Hemicorporectomy.
And the precision, it strongly suggested someone with anatomical or surgical knowledge, done post-mortem after she was already dead.
And her face.
Yeah, her face was cut into this grotesque Glasgow smile, deep cuts from the corners of the mouth towards the ears. The body was drained of blood, scrubbed clean.
Scrubbed, like trying to remove evidence.
Exactly, implying some forensic awareness. And ligature marks showed she'd been bound, tortured before death.
So it wasn't just murder, it felt ritualistic.
Absolutely, a display. The LAPD launched this massive investigation, one of their biggest ever. The FBI even got involved, using an early fax machine, a sound photo, to send her fingerprints out.
And they identified her quickly with that.
Incredibly fast for the time, yeah, just 56 minutes. But knowing who she was didn't get them closer to the killer initially.
Right, and the media just went wild.
Completely unprecedented frenzy. And the killer, chillingly, used it, called the Los Angeles Examiner, taunting them.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And later mailed a package with Elizabeth's personal effects, birth certificate, photos, and an address book, but all wiped clean with gasoline, destroying any prints.
Wow.
And included a note made from cutout letters. Here is Dahlia's belongings, letter to follow. He was playing a game with them, controlling the narrative. The police were often just reacting.
Okay, so over 75 years, loads of suspects, dead ends. But one name keeps coming back. Dr. George Hodel. This is where it gets really interesting, doesn't it?
It really does. Dr. Hodel was a prominent LA doctor, surgical training, obviously, but also documented sadistic tendencies. He was even a suspect in a really scandalous incest trial involving his own daughter.
That's dark. And his own son, a former LAPD detective, built the case against him.
That's right, Steve Hodel. Spent years compiling evidence. He points to his father's surgical skills matching the mutilations perfectly.
And the wiretap? That seems huge.
It's probably the most chilling piece. An LAPD wiretap in 1950 caught George Hodel saying, and I quote, "Supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia, They couldn't prove it now. They can't talk to my secretary because she's dead.
I mean, that sounds like a confession, almost. Why wasn't that enough?
It's incredibly suggestive, isn't it? But legally, still circumstantial. They couldn't directly tie it down. There were also witness claims Hodel dated Short, and Steve Hodel found photos he believes are of Short in his father's album.
But that's disputed.
It is. Plus, Hodel had this interest in surrealist art, which some connect to the crime scene's the theatrical nature.
Yeah.
And he abruptly moved to Asia just as the investigation seemed to be zeroing in on him. Lots of smoke.
But no definitive fire. Some police, researchers, they questioned the photo ID, and Steve Hodel later made these much broader claims about his dad being other serial killers.
Right, which unfortunately made some people question his objectivity on the Black Dahlia case itself, fairly or unfairly. So the case against George Hodel, while compelling, isn't quite airtight.
So here we are, the Black Dahlia case, officially unsolved, a real monument to, I guess, a killer who knew forensics, a media storm that maybe got in the way, and just the limits of police work back then.
Exactly. The George Hodel theory gives you this perfect, almost movie-like villain, right? Lurking in the shadows of Hollywood. It's a masterclass in circumstantial evidence, really strong points that together paint this chilling picture. But it lacks that one undeniable piece of proof.
So what does it all mean for us listening today? I think the Black Dahlia case lasts because it taps into our fascination with darkness, right?
Yeah.
That line between glamour and depravity, especially in a place like LA, and just that deep human need for answers when faced with something so awful.
Absolutely. But it's crucial, amidst all the myth and speculation, to remember Elizabeth Short, the actual young woman whose life was brutally taken and whose real story got kind of lost in the legend.
Definitely. So for you, thinking about all this, what's the single most unsettling piece of this puzzle? And what does its enduring power tell us about, our own society's ongoing fascination with true crime?